So this is kind of a little bit of a special video. I kind of want to get into interviewing. I was very interested into making a podcast, and I want to put one together. Just haven't figured out what I want to make it about or what the name of it is going to be called, because I'm a real big podcastaholic. I listen to a lot of podcasts. So I figure, hey, why not interview myself? That would be a good way to kind of practice this interviewing skills and make a kind of fun and interesting video, I think. So I'm going to talk about, going to interview myself on kind of how I got to my weightlifting goals and kind of where I'm at and what my obstacles were. So that's just, since you kind of, if you're watching my video, you kind of probably know about me a little bit, but let me go into kind of like just the weightlifting aspect, because I just want this video to be mostly informative about technical aspects of working out, because that's what I like. So tell us, Ryan, what and how did you get to a 365 pound or 375 pound squat? What were the key factors you learned in squatting? You know, that's a good question. 375 pound squat. I mean, to me, it's really not that much. I mean, there's so many people that can squat way more than me, but probably one of the major key factors in me getting to that weight was essentially just learning how to stay upright, because I have a very strong deadlift and I have kind of basically a big ass and big hamstrings. It gives me that leverage where I can use my body weight to pull my body back, and it just feels kind of natural to do a deadlift. Whereas a squat, I mean, feels totally unnatural because of my tight body, my tight hips. So one of the key factors that kind of helped me a lot was being able to mobilize my hips and really focusing on squatting wider. Squatting wider has helped me a lot more. I like squatting narrower because that allows me to get more quads in. I can actually get a lot more power in the hole with it, but the problem with narrow squatting is that my flexibility is bad, and what happens is I become very, very inconsistent. And if you're very inconsistent at something, meaning that you can't squat the same way every single time, it's going to be very difficult to improve. You know, if you do 5 sets of 5 and all the repetitions are a little bit different, it's going to mess with your technique, and it's going to be very difficult to get better. So tell us about this, Ryan. I know that you accomplished this 500-pound deadlift goal of yours. You hit 515 for 2 reps in 2013. Tell us kind of what got you there, what motivated you to get there, and just kind of what obstacles you kind of hit when you were trying to get to this 500-pound deadlift goal. Well, that's a really good question, Ryan. What made me want to get a 500-pound deadlift goal? You know, I don't know exactly what it was. I just got into it. But I do know that, actually, you know what it was? I read this article by Brett Contreras, and he talked about, being able to deadlift 500 pounds. Because if you can deadlift 500 pounds, it just basically says you're strong, and there's essentially no arguing it. So I figured, hey, if I can hit a 500-pound deadlift, I'm strong. And at the time I set the goal, I mean, I could barely deadlift 315. I could probably get 4 or 5 reps. I could barely hold the bar. I mean, my lower body was strong, but I couldn't hold the bar. So I was like, I wonder if I could hold the bar, how much can I really lift? So because that's the grip strength was one of the first things I struggled with. But I wanted to conquer it. I set a goal to do it, and I accomplished it. But the factors that I learned, that was the question. So the factors that I learned with the deadlift was, in the beginning, I was doing the deadlift wrong. And when I mean wrong, I was kind of doing like more like a stiff-legged or even a Romanian deadlift. That's kind of what my deadlift technique was. So I really didn't use a whole lot of quads in the beginning. I used mostly hamstrings and glutes. Kind of on a kind of positive note, what that did was it made me build my spinal erectors a lot. It made me build my hamstrings and glutes a lot, and really focus on really keeping a flat and straight back. And then when I finally learned to incorporate my quads into initiation of the movement, holy shit, it made such a big difference in my lift. I got more speed from the ground. I got more power. And that was probably one of my main breaking points. I kind of had this one video where I did like a 405 for 5 reps. And it was so fucking hard. I remember I was wearing this competitor. Her name was Margot. I was wearing a shirt. It says Go Margot. Or 123 Margot. I forgot what it was. Anyways. But I'll see if I can post a video in the description. But it was so heavy, and what made it so heavy was wasn't using my quads. I wasn't using enough quadriceps. And then when I started to figure out how to use more of my quads and then use my hamstrings and glutes, that bar fucking floated up. And pretty much, at any given moment, I can pick 405 pretty much cold. and which is kind of cool. I like that feeling. I mean, if you told me to get one rep in, I can pull that shit off the ground with. I won't say it'd be easy, but I know I can get it. I wouldn't have to think about it. I can just reach. I can just pull it, which is kind of cool, which I really like. So you're saying that you weren't using a lot of quads in your deadlift, and you weren't bending your knees enough. I like to actually kind of elaborate more on that idea of kind of what did you do to kind of break that 500-pound barrier. Yeah, because I think a lot of people would like to know how to get to a 500-pound deadlift that are like very close, but maybe scared. Being scared. You think for 1 second I wasn't scared? I can't tell you. I remember the first time I sumo pulled 485, and it wasn't even that heavy, but it was mentally heavy. It's like this stress that you put on your body, and you're like, I don't know, you're afraid you're going to freaking snap something. I remember the first time I did that. I mean, I've pulled 445 before, but 485 was 40 pounds more. I just felt like something I was going to be like Anderson Silva. It's kind of, sorry, Anderson Silva, but I feel like my leg's going to snap, or I don't know. It's more like some stupid, made up fear. And to most people who don't know me, I've had and still do suffer from a little bit of chronic back tightness, and it always bothers me all the time. It gives me a lot of issues, and so I'm pretty sensitive to kind of my own issues when it comes to lower back pain. But to kind of answer your question, it's the fear was there, but what made me kind of conquer it? I don't know, just fucking doing it, I guess. I mean, you get to a certain point where you should be able to pull it. And obviously you don't want to be like go gung-ho and not really think about it, not have your technique refined. I made sure my technique was freaking perfect before I pulled 500. I was so sure that I was going to, when I know I can pull 500 pounds, I knew I can pull 500 pounds, just as long as I knew how to prep for it. And kind of one of the ways that allowed me to know that is, I think what the number is, I think if you can do like 450 for like 4 or 5 reps, you should be able to pull 500. I forgot. Reason why I broke 500 was because this YouTube challenge by Omar Isuf on YouTube. He had this video about this 500 pound rep challenge, and I got 3 reps. I don't know. I'm trying to build my YouTube channel and trying to, do stuff online. And, I was right at that point. I deadlifted 485. I was pretty strong. I felt really good. And he put this contest out, who can deadlift 500 pounds the most repetitions. And I had never lifted 500 pounds, let alone for multiples. So when that contest came out, I was like, fuck it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to video record it. And take a look at my channel. It's on there. I have to say, it wasn't even that long ago. It was just a few months ago. But when I did that, it was probably one of the coolest things that I've ever actually pushed myself to do. It wasn't even that much in the sense that it was like a lot of work, but it was just like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I felt like I was able to break a fear, because it wasn't even really the physical aspect. It was so much the mental aspect. And I think that it's good to have that mental block to make sure you don't get injured, you don't get hurt. But at the same time, there's that point where you get to a certain strength level where you can do it, and you just got to just fucking do it. And that's what I did. What was your biggest obstacle? When it came to deadlifting and squatting heavy weight? It's the same thing. It's fear. I'm afraid like anybody else. Afraid something's gonna snap city, like the Hodge twins say. I don't want to fucking break anything. I don't want to hurt myself. I like lifting. I want to keep lifting. I don't want to risk my injury. So it's kind of learning how to conquer that fear, learning how to coach yourself. I think it helps to have a coach that knows kind of what they're doing and kind of push you in the proper manner. But more importantly, you got to kind of dig something in yourself to push. Obviously you don't want to do a 500-pound deadlift if you've only deadlifted 400 pounds, But if you've deadlifted like 455 and 460, you might be pretty close. It just depends, A lot of different factors come into play. But my biggest obstacle definitely was the mental aspect, and conquering it. What helped me was I've been doing a lot more videos on YouTube, and that's what kind of motivated me. Doing recording and just posting videos and just keep doing it. All that stuff has helped me considerably get motivated to basically push myself. So let's go back to talking about your squat. I know your squat is kind of one of your lagging lifts, and you feel like you should squat more. I know you mentioned that to me in the past. What is it that you think you need to work on now to make sure that your squat goes up and that you improve your squatting technique and lift more weight? All right, so here's the deal. With my squat, the biggest problem with my squat is staying upright. And I just started going back to a low bar squat, because the problem is, like with squatting, your technique has to stay the same. And sometimes I'll keep the bar high on a high bar where it's kind of just on my traps. Other times I'll keep it above my shoulder blades, below my traps. And obviously, when you have a low bar squat, you can squat more weight. And the problem is, it would take me 4 or 5 sets before my chest would get, stretched out enough, and I have flexibility enough to keep that bar back there. So when I hit 375 the other day, I felt really confident about where the bar placement was, and I know now where to put it. So the main thing is making sure that I really stay consistent with the way I lift with each and every single rep. I can high bar squat, but high bar squat is not for me right now, or at least not for powerlifting. So the things I need to work on is definitely setting up, and which means I do need to do more volume. And I need to do more volume because I need to get more practice in. The other thing too is my shoes. I just bought some Olympic lifting shoes again, and I'm gonna try them out again, give them a second shot. And because the problem is my shoes are getting compressed with the heavy weights, squatting. When I get about 300 or 400 pounds, when I get to 300, over 300 pounds or 335, I can feel my shoe compressed quite a bit. And squatting week after week, it's gonna start to it's going to get worse, and my foot placement is going to feel a lot different. And I don't want that to mess with my technique. I don't want my technique to be compromised because of my gear, or in case my shoes. All right, so the last question of this interview, Ryan, just want to ask you, 300-pound bench. What finally got you over a 300-pound bench? I know that you've never bench pressed 300 pounds your entire life until probably about a week ago, when your friend was here in your garage, who basically said, "Can you hit 300 pounds yet?" It's like, "Fuck yeah, I'm gonna do it." Well, I know that's what you said to me. I'm trying to interview myself. This is not working. What finally allowed you to hit that 300-pound bench? All right, how did I hit the 300-pound bench? Okay, let me tell you how I hit it. Had someone there to help push me. What else can I say? When you have someone, you have good workout partners, and they push you, or you have a friend, it doesn't matter. It really makes a big difference. In my work environment, I don't really work out with anybody, but I work out around people that are stronger and much better conditioned than me, and it helps push and motivate me in a way where I want to really basically become stronger and become better. But to talk a little bit about the technical aspects of the bench press, I would say that working on skull crushers, like overhead, getting that long head, was a big one for me. That really helped a lot. Doing some pause benches with a close grip bench helped a lot. What else is there? And getting a bigger arch in my back. Those are probably the 3 things that make the biggest difference in getting over this 300 pounds for a single rep. I mean, I haven't done it at work yet, where the bar's thicker and the conditions are a little different. I've done it here at home, and I hit 305. I grinded it out with a thinner bar, which makes a big difference. But the thing is that being able to get tricep speed, I'm beginning to realize, is the most important part when it comes to benching a lot of weight. I'm talking about like the 1 or 2 reps, not for like 5 reps or 6 reps. That's where chest strength actually matters a little bit more. But the tricep speed, you got to be quick. If you're not quick at the bottom, because my problem right now is I'm actually believe it or not, I'm having trouble locking out. I mean, I freaking get that shit past my chest. I'm fucking golden. But once it passes my chest, my triceps get spent or something, or I don't know, maybe it's my chest, who knows. But I definitely need to start working on lockout. But what got me, another thing I forgot to mention is that the slingshot definitely helped me out a lot. So plugging, Mark Bell's product is the slingshot. It helped me because it allowed me to get some more reps with 295 for 4 or 5 reps with the slingshot assistance made a big difference. So doing that made a big difference. And just practicing my technique more. Because essentially it's really, you got to practice. If you want to get better at lifting more weight with low reps, you have to lift weight with more reps. Or you got to lift more often like that. But the problem is you can't do that very often, so your whole training regime has to change. You can't bench that often. You can't squat that often. You can't deadlift that often. At least you can't do it safely, and you can't do it effectively. Thank you for watching this interview with myself. I hope you found this informative, maybe a little entertaining. Please make a comment, click a like. If you have any ideas for kind of what I can do for a podcast, please comment below. Again, thanks for watching.